In the headlines, experts say cases of abduction reduced by 28% in August as troops scale up operations across the country. NDLEA discovers 13.4 million pills of tramadol in Lagos mansion. Gas explosion kills 4 refugees in Kogi. Away from Nigeria, King Charles III to host South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa in first state visit. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. We begin with security matters. Cases of abductions went down by 28% across the country in the month of August when compared with July. A report attributed this to the ongoing security forces operations. An Abuja-based security risk management and intelligence consulting company, Beacon Consulting, captured this in its latest report for August 2022. The report, however, showed that 859 people were killed in the same period, with Borno and Kaduna states topping the chart with 349 and 79 fatalities respectively. The report showed that a 49% increase in fatalities and an 18% increase in the number of incidents compared with the previous month of July. The report indicated that there were 599 incidents across the country that resulted in 859 killings and 380 abductions, which affected 262 local government areas in 36 states. The report, titled Nigeria Security Report, noted that the month of August was dominated by a visible increase in security forces action and the government claiming successes in the ongoing security operations across the country. Climate change is one of the many factors that contribute to the security challenges bedeviling the North and Nigeria at large. This is the view of climate change activists and climate reporters at an event tagged Green Hangout in Kaduna, organized by the Green Climate Africa. The activists, while advocating for collective effort to fight the menace, disclosed that many plants and animals have gone into extinction due to unfriendly activities of man. The report.
The Green Hangout is a platform where people within the environment space discuss climate change and its implications on security, agriculture, economy, and other human endeavors. However, experts say the effect of climate on planet Earth, especially in Nigeria and the North in particular, has contributed to the present security challenges.
If you go down, you find out that those that are being recruited to be part of these climate change challenges are there because of their means of livelihood have been submerged by either natural or artificial challenge.
Climate change is one of the factors that constitute national security issues. So, of course, anything that has national security implication is, of course, a looming danger to the entire country.
Besides extinction of plants and animal due to climate change, another issue discussed is drying up of the river, especially Lake Chad, which contributed to security challenges.
There are a lot of plants and animals that have gone extinction. Before now, you find out that you will see what we call angulu, that's vultures around. While we're growing up, we see them around, but now we don't see them again.
80% of Lake Chad has dried up because of what issue of climate change that we are facing. And the people in the Northeast, majority of them used to depend on Lake Chad as their source of livelihood. Now this has caused a lot of issues that has to do with security challenges.
Awareness is supposed to be something of government partnering media to actually let the people understand that what is happening in the climate is very important to their life and to their sustainability.
The participants here want collective effort to fight climate challenges, especially in the developing countries. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has arrested over 50 suspects over allegations of various crimes in Gombe State. The NSCDC commandant in Gombe State, Waziri Babagoni, said those arrested include suspected underage prostitutes, forest vandals, and some in possession of fake dollar and naira notes. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These women were allegedly arrested in various nightclubs within Gombe metropolis. According to NSCDC, some of the girls are underage who ran away from their homes and have been arrested over 16 times.
Those ladies who are now fleeing in Ghana and in protests, most of them are from other states, the neighboring states, Bauchi, Jos, Taraba, and Adamawa states. Why they left their state without the consent of their parents. They come down, in order to do harlotry and in Boston that we arrested them for. And these are the things that the serious social vice where Nigerians can be spoiled at tender ages, and this also is not allowed. And this is the reason why, by all means, will not allow such a social vice to be happen in Gombe State here. It's the responsibility of the general society and the spiritual agencies, where government has given the mandate to enforce, and we are going to enforce these laws and do all our most aspects in order to control this society.
Some of these underage girls were alleged prostitutes who have been moving from one nightclub to another, an allegation they vehemently denied.
I used to
go to the club. I was arrested last Friday. This time I went to take my bag at the club, but we were rearrested on our way back. The NSCDC also arrested a group of individuals suspected to be involved in printing and circulation of fake naira and dollar notes to the tune of 7 million naira. I was informed that some people have recovered foreign money in Yola and they don't know what to do. A man contacted and briefed me about it. We traveled to Yola. It was there I collected the money in Jamaica. They are Fulanis. Also apprehended were suspected vandals for alleged illegal cutting of trees in Gombe forests. The command said it will not relent in its effort toward ensuring that the state is rid of criminal activities. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
As Nigeria marks 62 years of nationhood, activists have called for restructuring, respect for the rule of law and good governance beyond 2023 general elections. Stakeholders are in agreement that there is the need to work towards building a nation before and beyond the 2023 general elections. Nana Mohammed was there and now report.
The discussion in the hall is tense. People were angered and saddened with the situation in the country.
Some of the most important issues is that good governance will not emerge on its own. That the individual Nigerians and Nigerian groups have to work hard to drag the feet of those who are aspiring to lead us, to drag their feet to the fire of democracy. Democracy will not thrive on its own if the people do not work for democracy.
There are questions to be answered about which direction Nigeria is heading to during and beyond the 2023 general elections.
What is Nigeria? Is Nigeria a project? Is Nigeria an idea that is not real? Is Nigeria a cow to milk? Is Nigeria an experiment? Is Nigeria a responsibility? Is Nigeria an opportunity? Or is Nigeria a merchandise? Something that's up for sale or up for grab? What is Nigeria?
Human rights experts still insist that Voting remains the major way to change bad leaders for good ones and wants Nigerians to challenge the huge power in the hands of the president.
It was recently reported that a few business men and women were given duty waivers worth 60 trillion naira. That sum of money is enough to wipe poverty from the face of Nigeria.
We are hovering between 170 to 180 million people who are poor. You cannot have the rule of law when your court, your political systems are not accountable to the laws of your country. Can we bring our anger and disenchantment, disillusionment, and just fire it on election day? That's what makes us citizens.
It is still our low-hanging fruit that we need to harvest if we want the kind of restructuring that we are talking about. Because the rule of law, yes, under the rule of law, can we have a president and governors that will play by the rules?
The town hall meeting had Nigerians talking solutions to end a myriad of challenges faced in the country: citizenship, conflict prevention, nation building, social justice, peaceful coexistence, equity and equality remain the issues they prayed and hoped for beyond 2023 elections. Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to political matters. The People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees is mounting pressure on the national chairman, Yocha Ayu, to resign as a condition for reconciliation with the aggrieved governors. Barring last-minute change of mind, the advisory body may ask him to quit for a candidate from the south. The BOT members will also meet with Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and his group on Tuesday in Port Harcourt, the state capital, to deliberate on options for resolving the crisis of confidence in the party. There was pressure on Wike last night not to shun the BOT delegation, but it was not clear whether or not the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and Ayu will accept the BOT's advice. The Independent National Electoral Commission has said that the nation's registered political parties must disclose the sources of their campaign funds and keep to the rules guiding campaign financing and spending limits. The INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, said this in an exclusive interview with Trust TV. According to him, there are also limits for what individuals can contribute to campaign financing, as individuals can only make contributions subject to certain limits. The INEC boss reiterated that parties cannot receive financial contributions from outside the country, adding that any money received by any party from outside the country must be transferred to the Commission. The full interview is scheduled to air on Trust TV's 30 Minutes at 7 p.m. this Monday.
The limits are in the law, actually. Remember, it wasn't 5 billion under the old law. It's the new Electoral Act that set the limit for 5 billion for presidential. And then it sets other limits for other elections, from governorship down to councillorship in the FCT. The FCT, the only part of the country where INEC conducts local government elections. So these are in the law, and they must be obeyed and respected. There are also limits for what individuals can contribute to campaign finance. Individuals can make contributions subject to a certain limit, and the party also has its own limitations as to what it can spend, including where the money is coming from and the responsibility for full disclosure for transparency.
The law says that parties cannot receive financial contributions from outside the country. And if there is any money received by any party from outside the country, such funds must be transferred to the Commission. But there is another dimension to the foreign issue you have raised. At present, Nigerians only vote in Nigeria because the law says that you only vote where you are registered. And we don't have registration centers or polling units outside Nigeria. So there has been advocacy by Nigerians living in the diaspora to be given the right to vote, as is the case in many other countries, even in West Africa. Again, is the law. The law says that voting is only allowed for those who are registered and domiciled in Nigeria, not outside the country. So there's been a lot of advocacy for Nigerians resident outside the country to be allowed to vote. We have also championed that cause. The Commission supports Nigerians living outside the country to vote.
And away from politics, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has recovered no less than 13.4 million pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams worth nearly 9 billion naira, from one of the mansions of a billionaire drug baron, Ugochukwu Chukwukadibia, in the highbrow residential estate, Victoria Garden City, Lekki area of Lagos. The arrest of Ugochukwu, who is the chairman of the Auto Nation Motors Limited, is coming barely 2 months after NDLEA uncovered a methamphetamine clandestine laboratory in the residence of another drug kingpin in the estate, Chris Emeka Nzewi, who was arrested on Saturday, 30th of July, along with a chemist, Sunday Uka, who cooked the illicit drug for him. At least 258.74 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine and various precursor chemicals used for the production of the toxic drug were recovered from Nzewi's home during his arrest. Before his arrest, Ugochukwu, who hails from Ihiala local government area of Anambra State, has been on the agency's watch list as one of those behind the tramadol drug cartel in Nigeria. Preliminary investigation shows that he has about 6 mansions within the VGC, one of which he uses to warehouse the tramadol consignment, while he lives in one at plot Z130 Road 67 and another as his office. A family of 4 who were displaced by flood in Kogi State have sustained a second-degree burn from a gas cylinder explosion. The victims were rushed to Federal Medical Center, Lokoja, for treatment. The incident happened at their new abode at Adankolo, a suburb of Lokoja, where the flood victims have taken refuge from the surging River Niger water flood. At the gas explosion, victims Musa Aminat, Mohammed Musa, Abdul Salam Hadizat, and Halimat Sadia were trying to fix a gas cylinder when it exploded, inflicting 4 of them with life-threatening burns. Godwin Wambebe, a relation of the victims, said that they spent all they have on their treatment since the incident occurred, soliciting the assistance of well-meaning citizens in the society to help save their lives. Flood has killed 37 people and displaced 171,000 and submerged 89,000 hectares of farmland in Adamawa State during this rainy season. This was disclosed by the Executive Secretary, Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Muhammad Suleiman. Suleiman explained that it affected public and private property, which included schools, hospitals, markets, houses, and worship places, thereby affecting economic and social activities. He lamented that the flooding had gone beyond prediction by the Nigerian authorities, which was limited to the frontline communities along the banks of the River Benue in the state. He said that the agency had distributed relief materials to all the 10 camps set up for displaced persons following a directive from the state governor, Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at a northern delicacy that can be preserved for a long time. Details of this and more after the break.
That's great.
Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Experts say cases of abduction reduced by 28% in August as troops scale up operations across the country. NDLEA discovers 13.4 million pills of tramadol in Lagos mansion. Now, elsewhere, youths and women inclusion in politics has been described as an important factor for achieving socio-economic and political progress of Nigeria ahead of the 2023 elections. At a high-level consultation meeting of young people and women groups with leadership structures of political parties in Kano, experts argued that youth and women inclusion in politics is lacking across the country. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin has more.
It's a high-level consultation meeting of young people and women groups with leadership structures of political parties in Kano, which seeks to promote the inclusion of youth and women in key political and elected positions across the state.
INEC is an inclusive organization which is committed towards free, fair, credible, and inclusive election. Inclusive in the sense we have to carry youth and women along so that they can be able to participate actively in the electoral process from the beginning to the end.
Citizens demand at least the allocation of 35% of all positions of political party leadership and elected position teams are women. 2, political parties should subsidize the application funds for youth and other free funds for women aspirants.
According to these people, women and youth in Kano State are not well represented in both socio-political and economic sectors. Hence, the need to consult these political party representatives on youth and women inclusion in politics.
We also train about 369 mentees. These are people with interest in politics. We train them in the area of policy engagement, grassroots mobilization, and other related governance activities.
For these leaders of various political parties, women and youth will be given adequate opportunities to participate in governance and development should their party be given the mandate.
The youth are occupied, the youth are busy. If you give youth the education, they will find their balance. You don't need to represent anyone, they will find their balance.
We need to have a two approach from my own perspective. If we want to continue or if we want to maintain status quo, to continue with the 1999 Constitution as amended, we need to sit down and discuss some of the lacunas in the Constitution, which will bring about inclusiveness, which is a characteristic of good governance.
While they commences their electioneering campaign, their strategic and profound thoughts toward women and youth inclusion in politics will be expected to be translated into reality. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Non-profit organizations in Osun State have formed a coalition with the sole aim of fighting for the rights of older persons in the state. The Coalition of Societies for Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria was unveiled at a press conference in Osogbo, the state capital. Stakeholders explained that the objective of the coalition is to guarantee the rights of older persons in the state and publicly push for the prompt payment of retirement benefits to the pensioners. They are appealing to state government to pay pension and gratuity of retired civil servants in the state without further delay to enable them cover their financial needs. Now, Kilishi is a popular Nigerian local beef jerky that is originated from the northern part of the country. This delicacy was born out of necessity to preserve meat for a longer time, especially for travelers. Although Kilishi can be made from beef or of domestic animals like goat, ram, and sheep, cow meat is more desirable for preparing these delicious beef jerky. In this report, Ishao Adamu examines how Kilishi is done in the northwestern state of Sokoto. The report.
For more than a century,
the business of Kilishi has been financially sustaining many households in most northern states. In Sokoto, this local business is gradually booming, with more Kilishi processing joints being established at various locations. Malam Umaru Gwadabawa has been in this business for over 3 decades.
I have been in this business for 35 years. All 6 workers are my children, and they have learned the business very well.
Osman Kilishi is another dealer of this meat delicacy who started the business about 7 years ago. Osman and over 30 supporting staff earn their living through this business at Ungorogo quarters in the state metropolis.
I am from Gombe State. I came to Sokoto, courtesy of business of Kilishi. I have built a house here in Sokoto, and I own over 10 pieces of land. I am also a farmer, and courtesy of this business, I got many lands where I farm rice of about 2,000 bags every year.
The persistent economic hardship is biting harder on this business, thereby dashing out the hopes and aspirations of its operators as they call for government assistance.
I have about 30 supporting staff under me, but I have never received any assistance from government. We only heard over the radio that government is giving assistance to people.
Since Kilishi delicacy can remain edible for between 6 months to a year, the need for government to come up with modalities for export may be considered necessary. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
Away from Nigeria, King Charles III will welcome South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to the United Kingdom for 3 days of high-level talks next month, the first of such visit since the monarch succeeded his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, last month. In a statement on Monday, Buckingham Palace announced that Ramaphosa has accepted Charles's invitation for a state visit from November 22nd to 24th. South Africa is a member of the Commonwealth, a political association of 56 countries, mostly former British colonies. The new monarch has visited South Africa on several occasions since 1997. The visit comes as Ramaphosa faces huge scandal back at home, and Arthur Fraser, the former head of the country's spy agency, has accused the president of kidnapping, bribery, money laundering and concealing a crime in relation to the alleged theft of $4 million in cash found at his Pala game ranch in northern South Africa. The country's parliament has opened investigations into the matter, and Ramaphosa could face an impeachment vote in the coming weeks. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ile. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.